Energy Bites.
Hi there, this is David Price-Francis, Energy World's man, here at Chichen Itza, at the location which these days is known as the Temple of the Warriors. Now, this is actually the place where supposedly human sacrifice did take place. And to say again, this was a Toltec practice and was to do with the giving of blood. I want to point out a really interesting feature, an unusual feature. You'll see the pillars here. They're all square, and square pillars were the pillars of the Toltecs. Don't worry about that sound in the background. It's an imitation jaguar sound that people make around here using special little clay pipes. So here what you see are square pillars. And the Toltecs very much worked with producing squares, like a red square. And a square is something which goes more with the red frequency. Now if we move over to the pillars over here, we're not going to go too far just to see them from here. The pillars over here are said to be older, and they're all actually round. And what we find is that the more planetary based civilizations, the civilizations that were based more in the blue feminine frequency of the planet, tend to work with circles and with round shapes. So if you take the Celts, they had round shields. They would make spiral shapes. And that was more to do with blue, and they would paint themselves blue. Now the Mayan people in a city such as Tulum, the city was painted a beautiful blue, and the nobility that lived inside the walls would actually be covered in blue paint. Now that was not the case with the Toltecs, who were very much more into this red frequency, which had with it a production of fear and dominance. Now, important to note, nothing wrong with red. It's the nature of the level of the red frequency and how it's used. So red can be used to produce dominance, fear, tyranny. It can also be used for a good level of administration and high quality mental work. So there's the red and the blue is tending to be more cooling in its nature. So what we have is the circular pillars were more Mayan, which is blue, and the square pillars were actually Toltec, which was more red. So we get this very interesting relationship between these two colours, and of course it continues even today, because if you look into American politics, what do you find except the red, and people wearing red hats, and they're into the red frequency, and then you have the blue. Just to show, an action of red would be more this nature, which is bringing things to concentrate, bringing things to a point, and the action of the blue is much more expansive and is going outwards like so. So the blue, the Celts would actually fight as a blue wave. They'd call out charge and they'd all rush forward together. The Romans were much more organized into red squares. The Toltecs were a much more organized military civilization, and the Aztecs, of course, were even more organized, and they came to dominate before the arrival of the Spaniards, who were even more red than the Aztecs. So this is Energy World's man signing off for now outside the Temple of the Warriors here in Chichen Itza. Bye for now.
See you soon.